All right, y'all. So we have the 2021 PFF awards. It says Tom Brady takes MVP. Michael Parsons earns Rookie of the Year. So PFF, very reputable football site. Been paying attention to them probably since like 2014, if I'm being honest, man. So very interesting stats and everything that is on this website. It says the 2020 NFL regular season is over, which means it's time to hand out some awards. 14 teams are focused on the playoffs, with the rest of the league already turning their attention toward NFL free agency. It's gonna be a good free agency, man. Very interesting. I like last year's, but I think this will be very interesting as well. And the 2022 NFL draft, there's still time to take a beat and recognize the best performances of the year. All right. I want to see this too. Wide receiver cornerback matchup chart. I think you got to pay for a membership though. PFF awards are regular season awards only. Any playoff performances may affect the player standing in the PFF 101 after the season. Okay, so that's this. Okay, I got that. All right, so the 2021 PFF awards presented by Western and Southern. Most valuable player, quarterback Tom Brady. So PFF gives Tom Brady the MVP. Okay. Each season, the discourse around the MVP award gets messy as people try to parse the value component of playing football, which is one of the most complex things to do. Obviously, quarterback is the most valuable position in the game by a distance, which is why this award has become a quarterback award. Indianapolis Colts running back Jonathan Taylor had a fantastic season, enough to force himself into an MVP conversation in many people's eyes, but Taylor just can't come close to the impact on winning and losing games that quarterbacks do. That's understandable. We have seen that in the movement of the point spread in Colts games, even with the quarterback as mediocre as Carson Wentz. Dang. The fact that they called Carson Wentz mediocre when this dude was actually at one point really nice, you know what I mean? The debate then centers around value within the quarterback position. PFF Steve wrote about what makes Brady the MVP over Green Bay's quarterback Aaron Rodgers or contendership. I think it was really a two-man race with Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. I mean, Jonathan Taylor was a good argue, but I felt like it was either going to be Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. Brady finished the season as PFF's #1 graded quarterback and was first in PFF's wins above replacement metric. He is our MVP. I don't know what that wins above replacement metric is. I'm gonna have to look into that. The Dwight Stevenson Award. So I'm assuming this is for the best offensive lineman. They gave it to Trent Williams. It's pretty interesting. JJ White playing tomorrow. Okay, that's gonna be good. Good to see. It's gonna be interesting. The Stevenson Award is PFF's solution to the MVP award and no longer serving its true purpose. Every sport has an MVP award, but not every sport names it that. It's an attempt to recognize and award the best player in the game over a given period of time. So most sports call it the player of the year, or for a single game, the man of the match. In the US, that name became MVP. That causes unique problems in football. So basically, this is saying the best player in the NFL is Trent Williams. Is this the purpose of this award? This season, the best player in the NFL has been Trent Williams of the San Francisco 49ers. In the NFL, if the NFL recognized that offensive linemen existed in their awards, he would have a very good case to win Offensive Player of the Year. But they're still a long way from that. PFF, however, grades and quantifies the performance of offensive linemen. Wow, that's interesting. Williams finished the season with a 98.3 PFF grade, which was the highest of any position this season or in any season in the last 16 years. The next best single season grades of any offensive tackle belong to Jonathan Ogden and Joe Thomas, a Hall of Famer and future Hall of Famer. Williams allowed 16 pressures in 15 games, but his run blocking was truly otherworldly. He simply erased defenders from run fits and single-handedly blew apart defenses by removing players from their assigned gaps. He was more dominant in the run game this season than any lineman over the last decade, and the only rival for overall play quality this season was Los Angeles Rams interior defensive lineman Aaron Donald. Wow. So Offensive Player of the Year, Bruce Matthews Best Offensive Lineman of the Year award best run blocker. So they gave him another award as well. That's pretty wild. So they gave him 2. If Trent Williams is the most outstanding player in the game this season, he is also Offensive Player of the Year and Offensive Lineman of the Year. Wow. So according to PFF, I knew how dominant Trent Williams was, and I've seen in games like, wow, like just amazing blocks, but I would have never thought that it was this good. It's pretty wild. NFL will award Offensive Player of the Year to somebody that they can tie yards to. Rams receiver Cooper Kupp breaking season, or Jonathan Taylor's chase for 2,000 yards, but Williams was more dominant relative to the rest of his peers both this season and historically. It's just harder to measure. Kupp, Taylor, Packers receivers, Devontae Adams, 49ers, Deebo Samuel, even quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers and Brady all had excellent seasons. Kupp in particular broke records and was on an exceptional pace all season without the 17th game. But what Williams did dramatically exceeds what any other tackle has done in a season over 1,000 snaps or so. So it's pretty wild. What it says: when it comes to linemen, Dallas Cowboys offensive guard Zach Martin had the kind of season that would be recognized as the best in the NFL in any normal year, but not when Williams is out there crushing NFL defenders like they are high school players. Martin allowed 19 pressures across 16 games and earned a 93.1 run blocking grade. Can I click this? Oh. Okay. Defensive Player of the Year, they give it to Aaron Donald over TJ Watt. Hold on. I'm curious to see this. TJ Watt tied the sack record and missed time doing it. So why does PFF have Myles Garrett with the better PFF grade than him and on first team All Pro over him? I am curious to see this conversation. Read the full conversation on Twitter. It's closer than it looks. Half sacks are screwing Garrett. He sacked the QB 18 times. Remember, NFL divides up sacks not because they believe they're qualitatively worse plays, just to make the box score add up. 2, opportunities as a pass rusher is huge in several ways. Garrett played Steelers twice. Big Ben's average time to throw this season is 2.2 seconds. First meeting, Garrett gave Dan Moore Jr. a PFF pass blocking grade of 0, but just had 4 pressures. Ball gone. So, is this who is Dan Moore Jr.? Football player. Oh, offensive tackle for the Steelers. Okay. So what? I guess Myles Garrett just abused him. The difference between Watt and Garrett sacks could easily be 2 games versus Roethlisberger. You can see these unrealized pressure plays on tape. We tracked them. Winning rush reps, but the ball's gone before the QB can feel pressure. Garrett has 56 of them. Watt 26. Garrett's pass rush win rate significantly higher, 25.7% versus 21.4%. Fewer of his pressures were cleanup plays and a much lower percentage. I see what they're doing here. Bottom line, both guys had elite seasons. Their PFF grades are both fantastic. Both guys over 90 as rushers. Watt has more splash plays. Garrett had more winning pass rush reps. On balance, the edge goes Garrett when tallying up all plays. I'm sure Steelers fans are now convinced. That's like saying this guy had 25 sacks, but 5 of the offensive tackles he went against weren't that good. And this guy had 19 sacks, but almost every offensive tackle he went against was really good. So, not saying that is this situation, but that's almost kind of like how they're doing this. And I'm not saying the offensive tackles he went against were worse or bad, but I'm saying that like that example is just fits the situation in a sense. If y'all understand me. What's this? Dominance. The Bills beat the Patriots 47-17. Yeah, I saw that. 5-minute drives. 5-minute drives. First 7 possessions, all TDs. That's pretty crazy. All right, let me see. So they gave Aaron Donald the Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think the NFL is gonna snub him again, but we'll see. That's pretty wild. And this is PFF. This is not official NFL awards. This is just PFF, but they're pretty reputable. Like a lot of NFL teams use their stats and everything, and some of the information that they put out. As much as Watt made a lot of splash plays, you can't take the sack record away from him. As player season-long pass rush impact is about more than 23 plays out of 1,000 snaps over a season. The other plays matter, and PFF grading quantifies the plays that don't necessarily result in stats and sacks. So basically saying if he got 23 sacks, that's just 23 plays out of 1,000 snaps. So they're focused on not just on 23 sacks, but the other 900 and whatever amount of plays, 987, whatever, 77, but whatever. The other plays matter, and what it says, results are often subject to influence from a dozen other factors outside of a player's control. Beating your blocker is a repeatable process. Whether or not the ball is passed before you can take down the quarterback is far less in your control. Garrett, Crosby, and Watt all had fantastic seasons, but the second half of the year sealed yet another PFF Defensive Player of the Year award for Donald, who has been the best defender in football pretty much since he set a foot on the NFL field. There was a 4-game stretch late in the year where Donald racked up 35 pressures, one fewer than Atlanta Falcons interior defensive lineman Grady Jarrett. I remember on the top 100 last year, somebody was like, or I think it was Grady Jarrett, but it was somebody. There was like, what do you think? No, that wasn't top 100. It was a Madden video. They were asking the players what they think their Madden rating was, and they're like, Grady Jarrett should have whatever Aaron Donald has. He's a very underrated defensive tackle. Donald was simply unblockable. He led all interior defenders in pressures with 87, 19 more than the best mark, and only Crosby had more total pressures. But Crosby, I ain't gonna lie, like if in a few games where I just paid attention to him, he was nice, very nice. Donald also played 1,040 snaps, the most of any interior defender has played in a single season over the last 16 years, making a positive impact and remaining efficient as a pass rusher, despite the monstrous workload. Rookie Defensive of the Year, Micah Parsons. I don't think I have too much to say about. I don't even want to read it that bad because I feel like that's unanimous. Really, like I think everybody knows that Micah Parsons is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Finished with 67 pressures, 9th among all defenders, despite rushing a pass rusher significantly less than other players ahead of him. Ended with a pressure rate of 22.4. And did it while having to spend the majority of his time as a true off-the-ball linebacker. The ability to play two completely different positions well and seamlessly within games gives the Dallas defense a flexibility most other teams can't hope to replicate. Cincinnati Bengals receiver Jamar Chase had a record-setting rookie year and took over certain games for the Bengals, but there are no records to quantify the rarity of what Parsons has been able to do. Also, they gave him the overall. Oh, no, that's his defensive rookie of the year. Okay, the rookie of the year and defensive rookie of the year. So they gave him both. Okay. Offensive rookie of the year, Jamar Chase. Oh, you gotta. It says Slater. This is. What I'm talking about. I guess I'll read this one. React to this. The Bills just gave the Pats the most embarrassing loss. Yeah, that was wild, bro.
Wait a minute.
I'm gonna do a few player reactions because I gotta edit y'all, so I ain't gonna be on too much longer if I'm being honest. All right, let's see. In most people's eyes, Offensive Player of the Year is a straight fight between Jamar Chase and Mac Jones, with Chase locking up the award when Jones began to wobble down the stretch. Chase, by contrast, dominated in some of the Bengals' biggest games down the stretch. This debate completely ignores the phenomenal rookie seasons of offensive linemen Rashawn Slater of the Chargers and Creed Humphrey of the Chiefs. However, Slater is already a top 10 player at that position that typically sees a long transition period before a player dominates. He allowed 26 pressures in 16 games and was able to hold his own against players like Myles Garrett. Creed Humphrey earned a 91.4 grade thanks to some spectacular run blocking in year one. So he was like that, okay. He allowed 10 pressures in 17 games, putting together the best rookie center performance in at least a decade. Both players should absolutely be in the conversation, but ultimately what Chase did this season was too special. He not only set records, the all-time rookie yardage record, all-time Bengals franchise record, but the way in which he dominated resonated throughout the league. He destroyed quality established veterans like Marlon Humphrey. He was a go-to player when the Bengals needed plays to come back and beat the Chiefs, and he won in a variety of ways, from yards after the catch to speed to deep bombs and contested catches. Yeah, he definitely looked like a veteran. Like, you saw him play, you would not think he was a rookie at all. What players I'm reacting to? I don't know, man. Is Flight gonna be mad? I might actually react to Flight's reaction. I might do that. Did he post a video already? Best wide receiver. They gave it to Devontae Adams. Wow. So they gave him a higher grade than Cooper Kupp. Wow. Interesting. So many great receivers in the NFL at this moment. Arguably, the only thing separating them is how long they have maintained their peak of greatness. Devontae Adams is coming off an almost identical season with a PFF grade of at least 92. Leads the league in PFF grade against single coverage, and is virtually unstoppable anytime his QB sees one-on-one. That's very true. I think Jamar Chase is gonna have that element. If I'm being honest, like one-on-one is just, oh my gosh. They both have like that extremely good adjustment on the sideline. It's just that route. Oh man, but yeah, I respect this though. Cooper Kupp certainly edges Adams for volume and overall production, but he also had a higher drop rate than Adams and operated almost twice as often from the slot, where free releases in space are easier to come by. Interesting. Deebo Samuel also deserves a mention for his incredible season that saw him add 8 rushing touchdowns, an all-time NFL record for a wide receiver, to his receiving production. He was a truly unique weapon in the league this season. Ultimately, Adam remains the best receiver in football, despite an impressive collection of performances this season. This is an interesting chart. T. Higgins, face on 99.9% excellent projected snaps. PFF's wide receiver cornerback matchup chart is a fantasy football tool you can use to set the best lineups. Best pass rusher, Aaron Donald. I don't think I have to read this at all. Aaron Donald just gets all the awards, man. Best run defender, Darius Leonard. Ooh, yeah, okay, I like that one. That's a good one. Darius Leonard was a turnover machine this season. He has perfected the art of the peanut punch. It's from Charles Tillman. Tackle forcing fumbles without risking the play. Isaiah Simmons had some nice ones this year too. But yeah, Darius Leonard, oh man. Dude is a turnover machine without risking the play if his attempt to jar the ball loose isn't successful. Leonard had 4 forced fumbles in the run game, twice as many as any other linebacker, and his average depth of tackle was just 2.87 yards down the field. Run defense goes beyond just those statistical plays, however, and is about how you deal with blocks and whether you can negatively impact the blocking scheme or the path of the running back, spilling him toward other defenders who can make the play even if you can't. Leonard understands offensive tendencies and keys as well as any defender. He was consistently pointing out plays and reading things before they happen, alerting teammates to what was coming and blowing up the play to let them clean up behind him. He was the best run defender in football in 2021. What up? Best coverage. Ooh, Kevin Byard. I ain't gonna lie. That's reasonable. I feel like at the beginning of the season he was killing it. I don't really know too much about the end of the season, but throughout he was very consistent. I say that. Kevin Byard has been one of the best safeties in the game since he entered the league and was a big reason the Titans defense this year exceeded expectations and arguably outperformed their overall talent. Definitely. I got to give it to him, bro, because I ain't gonna lie, I don't know a lot of people on the Titans. I mean, I do. I know a decent amount. But like to say that they have that many elite players on the defense, you know, when you correlate that to how they were playing defensively, man, they were playing so good in certain games, like just throughout the season. It's like, why are y'all playing this good? You know, like certain games, like you would just, I don't know, just wouldn't expect it. But Byard's 90.9 PFF coverage grade was only marked above 90 for any defensive back that played any significant number of snaps. He had 6 pass breakups and 5 interceptions, putting points on the board himself in the process, as well as forcing 2 fumbles in coverage. What really stands about his play, however, is that he simply rarely makes any kind of mistakes. He missed only 3 tackles in coverage all season and was consistently in position to discourage dangerous passes over the top of the Titans defense. Rams cornerback Jalen Ramsey and Falcons corner AJ Terrell in particular also have strong cases at the cornerback position. Terrell allowed just 188 yards all season. That's really good considering the fact that, I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't want to throw another man down by lifting somebody up, but Trevon Diggs allowed 1,000 receiving yards and Terrell only allowed 188. Only 43.9% of the passes thrown his way were caught, and targets in his coverage resulted in a passer rating of 47.5, both the best mark in the league. Ramsey was involved more heavily in a new role that asked him to play in the slot or in the box on 35% of his snaps, had 25 defensive stops, 12 pass breakups to go along with his 4 picks. Was this the most picks he had in the season? Andrew Whitworth of the Rams. 40-year-old Andrew Whitworth, still the best pass blocker in the game. That's pretty wild. He allowed 16 pressures in 15 games on 597 pass blocking snaps. There were 6 games which he allowed no pressures at all, and his worst pass blocking game was a 60.1 back in week 2 when he allowed a sack with no additional pressure. He faced some high-end pass rushers over the course of the season. His performance was not simply a product of never facing anyone capable of pressuring their quarterback. Tom Brady is changing what we thought players are capable of the late in their careers at quarterback. Whitworth is doing the same for offensive linemen, potentially making money for players like Trent Williams as he gets up in years but continues to dominate. That is a huge position though. Like offensive linemen, they do play for a while. Tom Brady is setting a new standard for quarterbacks, but definitely. Best offensive line team, Dallas Cowboys. Best special teams player, AJ Cole, punter for the Raiders. Breakout player of the year, Cordero Patterson. I like that. Okay. Few could have seen Cordero Patterson becoming one of the game's most dynamic and unstoppable offensive weapons in 2021 for the Atlanta Falcons, a former first-round pick as a wide receiver. I forgot he was a first-rounder. Patterson has likely only lasted as long as he I misread the context of that. Patterson has likely only lasted as long as he has in the NFL because he is arguably the greatest returner of kickoffs the game has ever seen. Devin Hester? What? Huh? Sorry. This season, he racked up 548 yards and 5 touchdowns, as well as 6 more scores and 610 yards on the ground. Patterson averaged just under 3 yards after contact per rush, and passes thrown his way generated a passer rating of 122.8. He was an integral part of the Falcons offense and was doing it as a hybrid weapon out of the backfield. And what's funny, after teams start seeing him doing it, then you see Debo in the backfield more. You see Jamar Chase in the backfield more. You see players like Isaiah McKenzie in the backfield more. Not saying that teams don't do that regularly, but it's pretty interesting to see that, you know, they start doing that. Comeback player of the year, they give it to Joe Burrow. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott was the odds-on favorite to win comeback player of the year before the season. And I would have gave it to Dak at the beginning of the season, but towards the end of the season, I didn't know who to give it to. And I forgot Joe was out last year. But that's wild. Okay. Joe Burrow's knee injury was far more catastrophic and destructive, and there was real concern that he might not return as the same player, but let alone take significant strides in year 2. Burrow didn't just get back up to his previous play, but took a huge leap forward. Being rested in week 18 was the only thing that stopped him from finishing the season as the number 1 ranked quarterback in PFF grade. Oh, wow. Burrow's performance was incredible, but doing it after a knee injury that threatened to seriously change the path of his career makes him comeback player of the year. And that is all their awards, man. So Aaron Donald got a lot of love. A lot of interesting information here. You know, Darius Leonard, Kevin Byard, learned some new stuff about them. They say Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the league, still respectable. Got Micah Parsons on a trajectory to be a future Hall of Famer, and a lot of interesting information here. Trent Williams, can't forget about him. That's that, man. So appreciate y'all for watching. Hit the like button for me, subscribe, stay tuned. Stay blessed.